Students, will continue the further part of module 1. So, in this, I am going to discuss the two categories of link. Okay. So, the data link layer controls how the medium is used, although two nodes are physically connected by a transmission medium such as cable or air. Then it is possible to have a data link layer that uses the whole capacity of the medium. Okay, or we can have a data link layer that uses only part of the capacity of the link. So data link layer that uses a whole capacity of the medium can be available, and that uses only part of the capacity of the link can be available. So when it is observed, in other words, we can have a point to point link or a broadcast link. If it is a point to point link, then the link is dedicated to two devices. Whereas in a broadcast link, the link is shared between several pairs of devices. This is an example. There are two friends who are speaking on the phone, that too using the traditional home phones to chat. Then they are using a point to point link. Whereas the same two friends, when they use their cellular phones, then they are using a broadcast link. Why? Because the air is shared among many cell phone users. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about two sublayers. So whatever is a data link layer, that can be divided into two sublayers. Why? Because to better understand the functionality of and the services provided by the link layer. Okay. Data link control DLC and media access control MAC. Okay. Now we'll see that data link layer and media access control. Okay, the data link control sublayer deals with all issues common to both point to point and broadcast links, whereas the media access control MAC sublayer deals with issues only with issues specific to broadcast links. So is it clear? The data link control sublayer deals with all issues common to both point to point and broadcast link, whereas the media access control sublayer deals only with issues specific to broadcast links. Okay, so this diagram is going to show how the data link layer is divided into two sublayers. The first figure A shows data link layer of a broadcast link, whereas figure B shows data link layer of a point to point link. So if you observe this, you can see the data link control sublayer and media access control sublayer in case of data link layer of a broadcast switch, whereas data link control sublayer is in case of a data link layer of a point to point link. Okay, link. Is it clear? So here we can also discuss the issue of error detection and correction as an addition, a duty of the data link and other layers. Next we'll discuss about link layer addressing. This is also one of the issue that is related to data link layer is a link layer addresses. So whatever are the IP addresses, okay, which will be discussed, they are the identifiers at the network layer which define the exact point in the internet where the source and destination hosts are connected. So is it clear? The IP addresses which will be discussed They are the identifiers at the network layer that define the exact points in the internet where the source and destination hosts are connected. But in case of a connectionless network, which may be a internet, then we cannot make a datagram reach its destination only using IP addresses. So only IP addresses cannot be used to make a datagram reach its destination in case of a internet connectionless network such as internet. Why? Because there is a reason. What is that reason? Is each datagram in the internet from the source host to the same destination host may take a different path. May take a different path. Okay. And the source and destination IP addresses define the two ends, but they cannot define which links the datagram should pass through. Okay. Then there's one thing to remember. What is that? The IP addresses in a datagram should not be changed. Should not be changed. Okay. If the destination IP address in a datagram changes, then the packet never reaches its destination. If the source IP address in a datagram changes, the destination host or a router can never communicate with the source if a response needs to be sent back or an error needs to be reported back to the source. So is it clear? The destination host or a router can never communicate with the source if a response needs to be sent back or when there is an error, if that error has to be reported back to source if the source IP address in a datagram changes. So is it clear? Then there is another addressing mechanism in a connectionless network which will be discussed. Okay, so whatever is about discussion, that is telling us that we need another addressing mechanism in a connectionless network, that is the link layer address of the two nodes. Link layer address of the two nodes. Then what is this link layer address? A link layer address is sometimes called a link address, sometimes even it is called a physical address, or sometimes even it may be called as a MAC address. So link layer address is also a link address, a physical address, or a MAC address. Okay. Then when a link is existing and as this link is controlled at the data link layer, the addresses need to belong to the data link layer. Then when a datagram passes from the network layer to the data link layer, then that datagram will be encapsulated in a frame and two data link addresses are added to the frame header. These two addresses are changed every time the frame moves from one link to another. Okay, so this is a figure that is demonstrating the concept in a small internet, the concept of IP addresses and link layer addresses in a small internet. So is it clear? When a link is controlled at the we know that a link is controlled at the data link layer, the addresses need to belong to the data link layer. When a datagram passes from the network layer to the data link layer, the datagram will be encapsulated in a frame and two data link addresses are added to the frame header. These two addresses are changed every time the frame moves from one link to another. So this figure shows a concept in a small internet. Okay. Then, so when we see this figure, we have three links and two routers. You can see two routers. This is one router. Okay. This is one router denoted by R1 and this is one more router denoted by R2. There are two routers. There are three links denoted by link 1, denoted by link 1, link 2 and link 3, labeled as link 1, link 2 and link 3. There are 3 links. Then they have shown only 2 hosts. Okay, 2 hosts. You can see alias and Bob. Then alias is at source and Bob is at destination. For each host we have seen there are 2 addresses. The IP addresses are denoted by N and the link layer addresses are denoted by L. There's one thing to note that a router has as many pair of addresses as the number of links the router is connected to. Okay, then you can see in this diagram 3 frames have been shown. Okay, 3 frames have been shown. This is one frame, this is one frame, this is one frame. 3 frames have been shown, one in each link. Okay, each frame carries the same datagram with the same source and destination address denoted by N1 and N8. You can see here. Each frame so you can see there are 3 links. 3 frames have been shown. This is one frame, this is one frame. Okay, this is one frame. Okay, 3 frames, one in each link. Each frame carries the same source and destination address denoted by N1 and N8. So you can see N1 and N8 represent the source and destination address. These will remain the same in each frame. N1, N8, N1, N8 will remain the same in each frame because they are the source and destination address. But the link layer addresses of the frames change from link to link. Link layer addresses of the frame change from link to link. In link 1, the link layer addresses are L1 and L2. Whereas in link 2, the link layer addresses are L4 and L5. You can see here L4 and L5. Whereas in link 3, they are L7 and L8. There is one thing to note that the IP addresses and the link layer addresses are not in the same order. IP addresses and the link layer addresses are not in the same order. They are not in the same order. You can see for IP address, the source address comes before the destination address. Okay. For link layer address, the destination address comes before the source. You can see the destination address comes before the source, whereas the IP address, for IP address, the link source address comes before the destination. Okay, that is one thing to remember. Here it is N1, N8. Source come first, next destination. Here destination comes first, then source. L8 destination, L7 source. Okay, then whatever are the datagrams and frames, they are designed in this way, so we follow this design. Okay, then we'll discuss about 3 types of addresses. 3 types of addresses. Okay, there are 3 types of addresses in case of a link layer protocols. One is known as unicast, another multicast, and next broadcast. What is this unicast address? What is this unicast address? Unicast address means each host or each interface of a router is assigned a unicast address. Unicasting means one-to-one communication. Then a frame with a unicast address is destined only for one entity in the link. So what is unicast address? Each host or each interface of a router is assigned a unicast address. Unicasting means one-to-one communication. For example, the unique. So as I said, a frame with a unicast address destination is destined only for one entity in the link. For example, the unicast link layer addresses in the most common LAN Ethernet are 48 bits, which are 6 bytes that are presented as 12 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. For example, the following is a link layer address of a computer: A3 colon 34 colon 45 colon 11 colon 92 colon F1. So you can see there are 48 bits, that too 6 bytes, and these are presented as 12 hexadecimal digits. You can see 12 hexadecimal digits, no? Count 12 hexadecimal separated by colons, 6. Okay. Next we'll discuss about multicast address. There are some link layer protocols that define multicast addresses. Multicasting means one to many communication. Okay. So this is whatever is a jurisdiction, it is local inside the link. Okay. Then the multicast link layer addresses in the most common LAN Ethernet are 48 bits, 6 bytes that are presented as 12 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. You can see the second digit, however, needs to be an even number in hexadecimal. So here the second digit is 2. The second digit, however, needs to be hexadecimal even number. Okay, even number. So A2, this 2 is second digit. However, this needs to be a even number for multicast address. Okay, multicast address, even number in hexadecimal. So A2 colon 34 colon 45 colon 11 colon 92 colon F1 showing a multicast address. The second digit is a even. Next we'll discuss about broadcast address. There are some link layer protocols which define a broadcast address. Broadcasting means one to all communication. A frame with a destination broadcast address is sent to all entities in the link. So I got a frame with a destination broadcast address is sent to all entities in the link. Okay, the example. The broadcast link layer addresses in the most common LAN Ethernet are 48 bits, all ones that are presented as 12 hex digits separated by colons. The following shows a broadcast address. The broadcast link layer address in the most common LAN Ethernet are 48 bits, all ones that are presented as 12 hexadecimal digits separated by colons. So this shows a broadcast address. All are Fs. All 6 bytes are X. 12 digits will all be F. Then it is a broadcast address. You got it? Is it clear? Next we'll discuss about address resolution protocol, ARP. So whenever a node has an IP datagram to send to another node in a link, then it has the IP address of the receiving node. The source host knows the IP address of the default router. Then each router except the last one in the path will get the IP address of the next router by using its forwarding table. Then how many routers are present? Among that, the last router knows the IP address of the destination host, but the IP knowing the IP address of the next node is not helpful in moving a frame through a link. Then there is a need of the link layer address of the next node. Okay, there is a need to have the link layer address of the next node. This is the time when the address resolution protocol, ARP, becomes helpful. Address resolution protocol becomes helpful at this time. This ARP protocol, it is one of the auxiliary protocols defined in the network layer which has been shown here. So this diagram shows the position of ARP in TCP IP protocol. So you can see here ICMP IGMP and ARP. So ARP you can see here, no? This is one. IP address, then ARP link layer address. So this ARP belongs to the network layer. Okay, network layer, because it maps an IP address into a logical link address. ARP accepts an IP address from the IP protocol, maps the address to the corresponding link layer address and passes it to the data link layer. Okay, and ARP request packet. Okay, then whenever a host or a router needs to find the link layer address of another host or router in its network, then what it does is it sends an ARP request packet. Okay, ARP request packet. So an ARP request packet is sent when a host or router needs to find the link layer address of another host or router in its network. Okay, in its network. Is it clear? The packet will include the link layer and IP addresses of the sender and the IP address of the receiver. As the sender does not know the link layer address of the receiver, the query is broadcast over the link using the link layer broadcast address, which has been discussed for each protocol will be later. Because the sender does not know the link layer address of the receiver, the query is broadcast over the link using the link layer broadcast address. Okay, which will be discussed for each protocol layer. Every host or router on the network receives and processes the ARP request packet. Okay, in the network, how many host or router are there? Every host or router will receive and process the ARP request packet. But what happens is, only who is the intended recipient recognizes its IP address and sends back an ARP response packet. So you can see here, an ARP response packet is coming from system B. System B, because the intended receiver is system B. Here ARP request is broadcast and only the intended receiver will reply back. Okay, then the response packet, what it contains is the recipient's IP and link layer addresses. So this packet is unicast directly to the node that sent the request to the packet. So you can see this reply is coming directly from this to the system from where the packet has been sent. Okay, so whatever is in this figure A, system on left, which has been labeled A system, has a packet that needs to be delivered to another system so called labeled with B. Okay, that too with IP address N2. Then system A needs to pass a packet to its data link layer for the actual delivery. But what happens is it does not know the physical address of the recipient. Then what it does, it uses the service of ARP by asking the ARP protocol to send a broadcast ARP request packet to ask for the physical address of a system with an IP address of N2. Then this packet is received by every system on the physical network, but only system B will answer it. So system B sends an ARP reply packet that includes its physical address. Now system A can send all the packets it has for its destination using the physical address it received. Okay, so I will stop here. I'll continue in next lecture.